Hello. Welcome to a special evening, just little short hangout. I hope you guys are doing well. I have some astrology stuff. I actually now just noticed I have lipstick on my teeth as well. Oh, that's always a good way to start. Hello. I know it's kind of dark. In just a couple of days, I was going to get the little hooks so I could move the regular lights down when I'm sitting. We'll get there. Anyway, hello, everybody. I really wanted to look at some astrology. Not a great deal. I'm not trying to blow anyone's mind or be really annoying to anyone. Oh, I just forgot one quick thing. Oh, apparently she's not listening. Oh well. Let me get to the right thing so I can share these images with you guys. I'm not fully prepared for my TED Talk, I freely admit. Just doing the best I can here. And I just wanted to check. Okay, that I can get rid of. Yeah, I think I can pretty much just... Okay. Just moving some stuff around. And I will be able to share this. Share the images on the screen. All right. At least in theory. Smoke them if you got them. And I need to make this just a tiny bit bigger. Okay, now I can share. Sherry says, last time I ate some Texas chili, I had heartburn for a month. Oh, gosh. Lucky girls here. Hello. Hello. All right, sharing. Screen. Chrome tab. I think this is the right one, hopefully. Okay, looks like it. All right, and this isn't wildly important. You just, yeah, smoke them if you got them. All right, I'm just in Canva here, and it was a place I was actually making the graphics, and I threw in some of the older ones to just kind of explain some basic things in astrology, but that's not really important. But you know, these are basic, just the basic signs in order, and just wanted to kind of ease you guys in. Mainly, we're going to be talking about these aspects. If things are 120 degrees apart from each other, it's called a trine. It's quite a gentle energy, like just going lazily down the river. A square, this is 90-degree angle. It's like, I asked Marjorie Orr why she saw some squares as positive and some negative. And basically she said it's the sand, the grit that creates the pearl. So some people can take that grit and turn it into a pearl, and some people can't. Opposition, it's pretty self-explanatory, and then the conjunction when things are in the same place. And I don't know why the conjunction symbol is upside down. Oh well. So if I'm a Scorpio, which I am, I have my moon here in Cancer. Each of these is 30 degrees. 3, 6, 9, 120. That's that trine, that lovely energy. That's what we're talking about, okay? All right, so I was looking, I'm not going to explain all of this, but I was looking at the transits for Steve Bannon. Actually, I'm going to move this down because I pulled Trump up too, just for the just for the fun of it, because it's so much fun. Is this the right one? Am I looking at the right? Transits for yesterday for Steve Bannon with the January 6th commission. Is this the right thing? Hang on. It says it is. So where's this guy's Neptune? Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's just sitting differently. It's over here. All right. So I thought maybe we would just go through a couple things, and I would explain as simply as I can, and maybe use some basic graphics. So basically, Steve Bannon was born at a particular time, the same way we all were. And when we're born, we're kind of like, I liken it to, it's like we're blank X-ray plates. And as soon as we leave our mother's protective energy field, the universe just goes zap. And we are, in a sense, a moment in time. And all of the potential that is in that moment in space and time, which is pretty exciting when you think about it. And it says that we have this innate power in us always, not just that our souls are, hello, Kevin, hello, not just that our souls are pieces of the divine, which I believe they are. We are all pieces of the divine. But what we got the instant we were born is also a powerhouse of energy that we can use and enjoy using, because generally speaking, the more thank you, Thelma, happy birthday, the more you embody your own chart, generally the happier you are. It's recognizing, what are my strengths, what am I here to do? And that's, to me, that's the biggest joy of astrology, is the self-knowledge of, well, these are my dreams. These are the kinds of things I want to do. What kind of gifts do I have that can help me focus that? So, and it can also stop you from doing things that are not necessarily a good thing, or things that the universe is not going to support you as much as they should. Okay. So we are these encapsulations of this moment in space-time, each of us. And then as we go through life, the way the planets are moving, transiting, is affecting, it's pulling out different parts of us. In the same way, people can be like a permanent transit. Have you ever noticed how some people bring out certain sides of you and other people bring out other sides of you? With this person, you feel like you can talk all day. With this person over here, you just dislike them on sight, which is unusual. Or you trust this person even though you're not really sure you should. That's someone else's energy field, their own encapsulation of that moment in space-time, and what their energy is pulling out in you. So anyway, yesterday Steve Bannon was he was the first person to be, well, at least referred to the House for contempt of Congress. Since the 80s, I think there was a woman. And then I think before that, you've got to go back to the 20s or the 30s or something. I'm afraid I'm sorry, I don't remember off the top of my head. But I got a sense last night when the committee was voting on that, and I could be wrong, but I had the sense that Steve Bannon was actually joyous. He was actually popping champagne. Like, look how important I am. look how many more viewers I'm going to get. And there'll be some way to finagle the system so nothing bad's going to happen to me. Or it'll happen so many years down the road. I'll be dead anyway. Who cares? So, sorry, something in the chat distracted me. Let me see here. Anyway. So what was going on with Steve Bannon last night? Because it's going to affect what he's going to do going forward. So there are a couple things to know. In general, I always explain this, try to make it as easy as possible. You don't have to know astrology to know this. Excuse me, this is a transit chart. And what it is showing, the lines aren't, this isn't what Steve Bannon's chart looks like, how his sun, is aspecting his moon or what have you. This is how the planets transiting around us were affecting him, where his sun was, where his moon was, what have you. I hope that makes sense. And the thing I always say, again, sorry about the phone. The thing I always say about these charts is, look, how much blue is there and how much red is there? Because there can be sorry. How much blue tends to be more positive. Red tends to be more, again, that grit, grinding kind of energy, conflict energy, or oppositions where it's kind of a seesaw, which can be good or can be bad. Depends on how you kind of do it. So last night, just looking at this, there's quite a bit of blue there. I mean, there's some nasty red. Boy, is there some nasty red. But there's still a lot of blue as well. Kind of, mostly there's just a lot of little lines, and then there's a couple of stronger red lines and stronger blue lines. So I was being referred to the House for possibly being sent to the DOJ for a prosecutor to come after me. I wouldn't be having a good day. That would not be fun. that would be bad. But I don't know that it was for him, because he's looking at his podcast. He is looking at the viewership and the money he can make and all this kind of stuff. So the positive is right up here. You have the sun. The sun's doing a lot here. The transiting sun is doing a lot. Generally, we try with a lot of transits or progressions or what have you, we tend to try to start with the planets that are the farthest out and kind of work our way in, because the ones that are the farthest out, they tend to have the most long-term effect because they move so slowly. But in this case, I just want to start with the sun, and then I'll start out there and work my way in, because you'll find it really interesting. The sun here, if you can see can you guys see the cursor? Just let me know. Where I'm making a little, because otherwise I can, actually, let me see. Elements, what have I got under elements? Lines and shapes. Let's do a circle. Let's make it orange, because there's nothing orange that's on here, and it is the black and orange channel. Oh my gosh, that's an ugly shade of orange. That's a little red, but it'll do. That's better. I'm very particular about my shades of orange. All right, and I will make this pretty transparent. So hopefully I can just move this around and you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, this is the sun and Mars right there. Oh, no, I should make this, sorry. I should make this a brighter color. What are you? There we go. That should do it. All right, but it's still fairly transparent, so okay, hopefully that will be more visible. Okay, so the blue here, this is where, hello dear, this is where Bannon's planets were when he was born. All these blue things here. Can't believe I just did that. These sort of orangey things out here, these are where the planets were in the sky last night. And at this time of year, the sun always comes around to about here, because if you think about it, we're on a sphere. There's a circle around us, the plane of the solar system. And from our position, it looks like it takes 365 days to go around the sun. Well, that's awfully close to 360 degrees in a circle. So the sun is moving roughly-ish about a degree a day. So at this time of the year, every year, the sun is right up back over here. So, okay, it's not something that never happens, but the sun is so massive and so powerful, and it lights up and empowers anything and everything it touches. Especially, I just find in conjunctions, I mean, obviously all aspects matter, but conjunction, it's just pouring that energy onto whatever it's pouring its energy onto. And here, the sun is pouring its energy onto this trident. And if you guys can remember, the god who has the trident, carries the trident, Neptune. Neptune, we'll go back up here for a second. This is Neptune right here. And it rules Pisces. This is the house of spirituality, institutions, art, fantasy, fiction, whether it's a good book or a horrible liar. Oh, funny, I'm going past this when I say horrible liar. So the sun in the sky, first of all, was just Bannon's sense of the dream, his dream. The sun was just lighting up his fiction, his art, his dreams, yes, Chris, a mythomaniac. I love that. Yes. And Roxana, yes, he was probably drinking. Yeah, that's because Neptune also rules drugs, drink, and anything that makes you do lally. So that was going on. While it was there, it was doing a number of things because, for example, it was in a very lovely aspect to Bannon's Jupiter. Jupiter is the biggest planet, and it is lucky, it is expansive, and it is a gas bag. I sometimes think of Jupiter like do you guys remember in the Christmas Carol, the Ghost of Christmas Present? And it was the guy sitting up straight, and it's like he's a king, but he has like no shirt on, and he has the big robe and stuff all around him like Bacchus. And he's just the jovial king. Jovial. Jove, which is another name for Jupiter. That's where that word comes from. So this big, expansive, lucky, matter of fact, he is a Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and actually he is a Sagittarius right here. That's what this symbol is. That's a symbol of Sagittarius. This is where his sun is. It's ruled by, so This is the planet that rules his sun sign. And Stephen, I like that. A verbose vagabond. Yes. The thing about Jupiter, and the thing I find about Sagittarians, the Sagittarians I've known personally, for some reason, especially the ones born at the end of November, but doesn't matter. Most of the Sagittarians I know, they have this wanderlust, almost, some of them do have a kind of Bachian quality to them. But they are living freer than anyone else I know. What's over here? Oh, Renier saying I'm a Sagittarian, but nothing like Bannon. Oh, no. Oh, nay. There are good sides and bad sides to every sign. Every sign. I'm a Sun Scorpio. I've heard all my life how awful Scorpios are. They are not all just, it depends on how you handle the power. And as a Sagittarius, you can be such a great thinker and travel, always constantly this thirst for knowledge, open-mindedness, wanting to learn learn as much as possible. Sagittarius was higher learning, higher wisdom. I have a stellium, which basically means a whole bunch of planets in Sagittarius, and I have been reading all my life, stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks. So, okay. So the sun in the sky was not only lighting up, sun in the sky last night was not only lighting up everything mythical, fictional, within Bannon, but it was in this lovely, gentle aspect to the big expansion, lucky. You feel grand when good things happen to your own Jupiter. You feel grand. You feel bigger. I can breathe, my friends. It's that kind of thing. That was good for. That was good for Bannon. Another thing that was good for Bannon, and here we start moving into the outer planets. Right over here, we've got that trident again. There's Neptune. But that was Neptune in the sky. All right. Where Neptune was here, it's in this lovely, gentle aspect to Venus. And Venus is what you love and how you love. So where this Neptune was in the sky, it was powering up, gently just powering up Bannon's sense of, I love that. I love that. And we all know with Neptune, which rules Pisces, we know how for the last so many years with Trump, it's facts have not mattered because Neptune diffuses. Think about something that falls into the ocean. What happens? It disintegrates. It diffuses things. Neptune also rules fog, things like that. So that whole fantasy, potential energy, lighting up. Oh, I love it. I love it, Bannon says. Okay? And also, the sun here, again, just pouring light down, is in this lovely 60-degree angle to Bannon's moon. Emotionally, his emotional needs and how he expresses his emotions, and Pluto, which is your sense of power. It rules plutonium. Warm vivacity or flatten it and make the area uninhabitable for 10,000 years. That's Pluto. And that intensity in his chart, that need for power, or that want of power, that sense of power, is in exactly the same place as his deep emotional needs. So the fact that he is so hungry for power and relevance, it makes perfect sense. It's that whole thing about power. It's right on his very basic emotional needs. And last night, the sun was just lighting that up. I have found, I'm sure there are people with more experience than I have, but I found that the trine tends to be a more gentle energy. It's just so comfortable. Matter of fact, people were, if you just have too many trines in your chart, too many of these 120 degree, so it looks like you just have these gargantuan triangles all over the place. People can be so lazy or self-congratulatory. It's like, oh my gosh. But anyway, but this 60 degree, the half of that is usually quite empowering. All right. So just with the sun here, with Neptune over there, and a couple of smaller things going on, little weaker aspects here and here and here and here and here. It wasn't a bad night. Yesterday was not a bad night for Bannon. However, a couple of things that aren't going to be quite so fun. Actually, I'm going to turn this into, I'm going to turn this a little more, is it yellow? No. Red. I'll make it red. Because last night was also that very same sun. And if you draw a line, let me show you. There's a line. If you draw a line from right, because that's exactly where, okay, that's where Neptune is, and that's where the sun is. All right, so they're not exact, but they're pretty close. Actually, it's a little further down. It's kind of like there. Okay, that's actually, they're not exact, but because the sun is so big, it's pulling into a conjunction this Mars as well. And Mars is how, think of the god of war, Ares, which is another name for Mars, god of war, how you act. Think of the arrow here, the spear, the let's take action. Well, they're nearly in the same place, and the sun is so big that it's in the space. In astrology, it's basically in the same space. The space doesn't have to be as small for things to be considered conjunct, which is what things are in the same place is called. The sun and the moon, it can have a wider space called an orb. You don't have to know that. The orb is the space between the planets. So not only was it the sun, but it was the force of Mars himself. So sense of the power of the sun, the force of the god of action, of war, lighting up Bannon's fantasies, his dreams, and it doing all these good things in his chart, but it was also doing these heavy red lines. These very heavy red lines here. And actually, where was the sun exactly? Hang on just a second. The sun, his sun at 510, the sun, it's not giving me the oh, there it is, yes. 26:45, 26 degrees. Okay. Do you see where this says 26 right here? And this says 26 right here. And then these weird shapes, this weird little horseshoe shape. This and down here, this, there, you can see they actually look a lot like each other, just flipped. This up here is called a north node, and a node is a mathematical point. It has to do with where the moon, where it crosses the ecliptic. Forget it. It's the north node. You just need to know it's the north node. Really, just go with it. And it's a mathematical point, but it turns out to be a very important one, because in a sense, your north node is kind of your work order in life. What are you here to do? My north node is in Aquarius, which is about sharing with the water bearer, giving, like charity, where you're giving to each person the same, and you're sustaining others, and that that energy of sharing and party, but also the party as in like a political party, not an individual. And because my north node is in Aquarius, my south node, which is going to be the exact opposite, is over here in Leo. And your south node, in a sense, is often has something to do with either the way you were brought up and or something in a past life that you're dealing with. Some people say it reflects directly on your previous life. I don't think it's that simple at all. But when you do things, like if I was to do lots of Leo things, I am the queen, I am the greatest, I am the center, I am the leader, what kind of ruler am I going to... If I do things like that, I'm not going to succeed in life. But it turns out that I was actually raised by basically raised by an alpha male and an alpha female, and myself and my sisters, we were raised to be alphas, and it's like, okay, I can't. I just slow your roll. All right. So I need to stay away from that energy. It's comfortable. I know how to do it, but that's not what I'm here to do. So here we have this north node for Steve Bannon is up here in Capricorn. All right, Capricorn, it's the weirdest looking symbol. Because the symbol for Capricorn is a mountain goat in the front of its body and a fish in the back half. Yeah, try drawing that one. I think of it as like a couture logo. And it is pretty much high materialism, status, and what have you. But Capricorn up here, ruled by Saturn, it rules the 10th house of career and status. It's about achievement. I often joke, and I know it's a bad joke. It's not always true, but it helps people remember. Taurus, the three earth signs, these little green leaves here, Taurus grows it, Virgo crafts it, and Capricorn makes it expensive. And they do it well, and so they make it so you want to pay more because it's high quality. It's, a lot of good things, but it's still Capricorn. And he is here to do Capricornian things. His north node is in Capricorn. So he's in a sense, he's doing the low end, but at least he's trying to raise his status, and yikes. But it means his south node is down here in Cancer. And I've heard it explained beautifully as Cancer's the big mom of the zodiac, and Capricorn is the big dad. America is a Cancer nation, and we're all about the, mom and apple pie and women with huge tracts of land. That's all the motherhood. Whereas England, not necessarily the UK, but England is Capricorn. And you think of the aristocracy, think of the class structure is much more rigid. Think Tweed, think castles, think they think for the long term. The aristocracy are known, even minor aristocracy are known for buying things that because they want to constantly pass everything they have down to their children, and then their children will pass everything down to their children. And the wealth and power accumulates and accumulates, and the status goes high, stays high, whatnot. Right? So what he's here to do, what Steve Bannon is here to do, is up in this house of status. All right, so he's doing what he's here to do. He's just going about it in a really awful way, which is not good. Just because, you could be a plumber and you've got a work order and you get to the house. Yeah, you can fix it. But what good is fixing the pipes if you destroy the walls all around them and then go, hey, I'm done. Okay, bye. And that's what he's doing. But as he tries to do, it's like the universe works with you when it comes to your North Node. If you focus on it, the universe will you'll get a little bit of wind at your back. It won't be easy, but the universe will reward you, which I think is one of the reasons he has achieved what he has achieved. All right, so now you know what a node is, right? And we've also talked about Pluto, right? Which is conjunct his moon, that sense of power, Pluto, plutonium, right? Pluto in the sky, right here, last night, was right there. It was in almost the exact same spot as his North Node. This is a once in a lifetime thing. Pluto takes 248 years to go all the way around. This is only going to happen once. And this is what he's here to do. And all of that power. And when Pluto comes along, it plows the ground. It plows the field. And if something is strong, it has deep roots, it's healthy, it's good for people, it will stay, and Pluto won't mess with it. But anything that's weak, that's rotting, Pluto goes through and it knocks everything down and it digs up the ground so that the gunk can be raised up into the sunlight. The nasty rocks and garbage can be carried away. And new growth can come to that area. This Pluto is coming up to sit on Steve Bannon's North Node. So it's like, Pluto's here. Knock, knock. Hey, you know that work order you got? How's it going? Are you doing things the right way? Can I check? Let me check. I'm going to go look. How's the pipe? Oh, you fixed the pipe by destroying the walls. No. Or you put the wall back together and you sellotape, scotch tape. No. We're gonna rip all of this out. Everything you've built here, we're gonna rip it all out because you did it in a bad way. You did it shoddily. You're done here, and we're just gonna clean this all out. And last night, not only is this Pluto coming up to his North Node, but the sun in the sky was square, was grinding against that sense of north node, that sense of what he's supposed to be doing. I know that twice a year in early February and early August, things will come along because of where my sun is, where the sun in the sky is 90 degrees from my own sun. And guaranteed in those 2 times of the year, things will crop up that will just grind down my sense of self. Because your sun is your sense of self, and the sun in the sky is grinding on it, and it's like, oh, making me feel small. It's why I've never liked the height of summer, and I don't have I think I've had maybe one halfway good Valentine's Day. Duct tape is good. Yep. Yep. So, all right. So, the sun grinding against his north and south node. Not great. And Pluto's, they're messing with his nodes. And those are just the big things in here. The sun last night was grinding against, the sun last night was grinding against, or sorry, the sun last night was sending this gentle, lovely energy to, light up, to light up this, the sun was lighting up Bannon's Jupiter, the grandiose, jovial. And meanwhile, Neptune, did I do that right? No, I didn't. Meanwhile, Neptune over here was kind of in this grinding. So, but the sun is not only massive, but look how thin this line is here. Look how thick this blue line is there. So his sense of grandiosity, oh yeah, they were talking about sending him to, trying to get him into prison. Yeah, that kind of stinks, but look how great I am. Here's the thing though. The sun is moving, and that sun is going to move on quite quickly. Neptune doesn't move on that much. Neptune's slow. So this lovely blue is going to disappear. And yeah, that blue line's going to disappear. And even Jupiter will move on, and this blue line will disappear. But Neptune is the farthest planet out, proper planet out. It's slow. And it's going to be, and from here on out, it's going to be grinding down on Bannon's sense of grandiosity. All right? So, I hope I'm not putting you guys to sleep. I had a look at Steve Bannon compared to the US. Because the US itself has a chart, and a person has a chart. So when we interact with each other, when we stand up and say, I'm an American, when we interact with the ideal of America, when we do things that we think we're doing for our country, you're going to get this synastry in the same way that you get transits in the sky. People are, in a sense, permanent transits because their planets are always sitting at a certain place compared to your planets. But you get the same thing with a country, just like it's a person. Astrologically, it works the same way. I hope that makes sense. So if you remember, this is the wrong, that is not Bannon. That is Joe Manchin. I've got the wrong. Do I have this here? What are you? Sorry, guys. No, that was his transits. Did I not download it? Is this possible? I did not download it properly. One moment. Hold, please. Nope, that's not there. Is it here? Donald Trump, Steve Bannon. Is this it? Yes, found it. Talk amongst yourselves. All right. There we go. Nope, that's not it either. My gosh, that's bizarre. Why is nothing working here? Huh. Well, if I don't have it, I don't have it. I'll have to... This is weird. It's... Okay, I'm going to try one more time. You should be the right thing. Ha ha ha! Okay, got it. Ta-da! November 27th, 1953, whatever that is. Partner, 4th of July, 1776. Bannon, the U.S. I found it. All right. Well, we know Bannon has that sun in Sagittarius right here. Bannon's sun is in Sagittarius. So the blue here is Bannon's chart. The orange here, this time, is the chart for the US. How do they interact with each other? First of all, the thing that jumps out at you is there's a lot of blue and there's a lot of red. But my goodness, there's quite, the red in the middle is quite powerful. I mean, look at this. Look at that. Look how strong that line is. It's like, wow. And what this is that horrible, well, can be horrible, can be good, depends how you use it. Powerful. Pluto, power, conjunct the moon, emotions, is opposite the emotions for the country. This is where America has their moon, their emotional needs as Americans is in Aquarius. Land of the free. And that's kind of our kick. That's our emotional needs, this idea that we are free. And what you get when you have an opposition like this is you get this seesaw effect where one rises, then the other rises, but in order for one to rise, the other has to go down, and then the other, and back and forth and back and forth like this, which at first it can seem really good. If you have somebody close to you in your life where you have something important, like your sun is opposite their sun, your moon is opposite their moon, it feels really good because your sense of self or your emotions, they're not just sitting there. This person comes along, and when they're around, you feel so good about yourself. And then, you say something and, oh my gosh, they feel good about themselves. And you're going back and forth, and it's just like, oh, wow. Ooh, that's nice. I feel great. And I've got to kind of lower myself so that this person looks better. But look how much happier they are. So I get some benefit of that too. And it seems so nice at first, but the reality is over time, unless you have two very, very understanding, mature people, is after a while, it's like, look, the only way you feel good is if I feel bad. That's how it can go wrong. I can never feel good unless I hurt you. That's where it goes really bad. So this emotional idea and this idea of power in America's power, because you've got Pluto there, so it's not just emotions, it's about power. It's doing this. And at first, growing up, the idea sounded great. The idea of America sounded great. Freedom from oppression. But after a while, you know what? That moon, people are glorifying that moon where it is over there, Bannon is saying. But I feel small over here. And I shouldn't feel small because I've got plutonium right here. I've got Pluto. That needs to change. So I'll make myself, but I can use that because I can use that energy. And as long as I lower that, I go up. Think about it that way. So if Bannon, because you get in this toxic relationship, and boy, is he in a toxic relationship with America, the more he goes, the lower he brings the US emotionally, the higher he goes. People really need to learn astrology to understand what's going on, and to understand why people are doing what they're doing, and also learn your own astrology. But I don't know that Bannon could learn anything. Sorry, I hit the microphone. Also, in Bannon's relationship with the US has quite a bit of luck with communications. This symbol right here is Mercury, winged Mercury, that communicator. And then this cross right here, this is it's called a point of fortune. It's another mathematical thing, but in general, that's supposed to be a very lucky spot. Kevin says that is his podcast mission statement. What is? Please, I don't know what his podcast mission statement is, but I do need to turn on the fan. Okay. So the US is quite lucky with its communications. Thelma, are you going to start doing charts so we can order? I wasn't planning on it, but who knows? All right. In Bannon's chart here, lucky communication. Thank you, Gerardo. Lucky communication here for the US is lighting up Bannon's. This is Uranus. Uranus rules Aquarius. Earlier I was talking about Aquarius, the freedom. I love the freedom. The moon here is in Aquarius. Freedom, 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 individuality, the rebel. American communication powers up his rebellious nature, his sense of rebellion. It also lights up his south node, which is not what he's supposed to be focusing on, but American communication. There you go. Just being powered up. And on the one hand, there's love between again, it goes back to started out well. There's the Trident, there's Neptune, there's the United States Neptune. The dream of America is in this lovely blue aspect, 60 degrees, to Bannon's rebellious nature. The dream of America just powers up the dream and the communication of America just powers up his rebelliousness. But his own dreams are not in a good relationship to America's communications. His own dreams grind against that. So, there's also a weak America's idea of rebelliousness kind of messes with his own sense of self. So he likes the idea, but again, it does this seesaw. Myself feels better when I'm interacting with America's rebellious, individual, freedom-loving energy. But after a while, every time it's doing well, I'm feeling down. So if I want to feel up, I need to control that rebelliousness. And he thinks he can, because if you think of the sun, it's so massive that it just can't. Uranus, it's big, but it can't compete with the sun. So anyway, that's how Bannon views the U.S. So I just want to, hopefully this will go a little bit faster. Let's look at Joe Manchin today and what's going on with him, because there was talk today about him. There was talk today about him possibly changing parties, and I just about had a heart attack during my live stream this morning. That was not how I want to die on screen. No, thank you. Thank you, Marby. Thank you. Thank you. So today, Joe Manchin. The blue, all these are Joe Manchin's planets here. And then in the orange, these are what was actually in the sky, the transiting planets. Okay. And let's look at the center, the red and the blue. Which is there more? Obviously, there is a lot more blue. Family says we all nearly died with you, Autumn. So there's a lot of blue here. There's a lot of blue. Oh my gosh, look how much blue's in here. This is good for him. Today, he might have been asked lots of questions, but my gosh, you know, that's a good energy. Where's the best place to start? Well, we'll start with the personal. Let's start with Manchin's emotions. He's a moon in, well, we're not sure because we don't have a birth time. But if you think about it, how far the moon moves in a day, this might be a thing. It might not be too far off. Oh, thank you, Betty. I did. I was just shocked. But all right, so this is Manchin's moon. And he has this traveling emotional need to do Sagittarian things, acquire knowledge, party, see new things, what's over the next hill. There's the high end of Sagittarius, and there's the low end. So what was going on in the sky was Venus in the sky, goddess of love, what and how we love, was just going past his moon here. So these are lovely together. The moon and Venus, just your emotion and love and your emotional needs and love. It's such beautiful energy, right? So that makes you feel good When Venus goes over your sun in your chart, it's a lovely feeling. It's like the universe is saying, love you, as it goes past. And you're just like, oh, love you too. So that was going on. I just did this for today. So he was feeling good there. And this love here, this Venus here, was sending this lovely trine energy down to Manchin's sense of power. But this little thing that looks like a 5, that is Saturn. We're going to do just a quick jump up here to Saturn. It looks like a 5. The way I always remember it, I've said it a million times, I know, but the symbol for Jupiter looks like a 4, and the symbol for Saturn kind of looks like a 5, which doesn't make any sense because Jupiter's the 5th planet and Saturn's the 6th, but their symbols look like 4 and 5. That's actually how I learned to remember them. It was my mnemonic device. The 4 and the 5 are actually the 5th and the 6th planets. Saturn rules Capricorn. It's an Earth, and Capricorn's an Earth sign, about career and status. The thing about Saturn, it rules time. It forms things. In a sense, it's the exact opposite of Neptune, which diffuses everything. Well, Saturn it forms everything. It makes things concrete. It's also, if you work hard, it will reward you. If you do not, it will be very disappointed, and you do not want to disappoint it. It rules time, its structure. Good fences make good neighbors. That's Saturn. Its color is black. It is very, it is not the life of the party. Not the life of the party. And his sense of this form, he is determined in himself. He wants to take the power of Pluto, all that power, and he wants to give it form. So he really likes that power. And in his own chart, you could even take Venus, you could even ignore Venus up there. In his chart, just normally, there's this lovely energy that has an emotional need to bring power into form. And when he gains power, when he brings power into form, he gets an emotional reward for that. With some other stuff in the chart here, things like the moon sending a nice energy over here to his sense of self, his sun. The moon's moving so quickly that for transits, it's more of a, just during the day, how are you feeling that day? So I'm not really as focused. I'm kind of ignoring this particular blue line. There's the moon. That's where it was in the sky when I ran the chart earlier today. So I'm kind of ignoring this blue line because this moved out so quickly. However, there is the rebel up in the sky, Uranus, the planet that spins on its side. Freedom loving and what have you. And it's in the sky, and it is, hang on a second, where are you? Where are you exactly, Uranus? It looks like the simple, well, not down here. Right here, it looks like an H with a doohickey. It's like an H with a lollipop. The H actually stands for Herschel, who's the man who discovered it. But here, there's another weird symbol here, but you can, I barely recognize it when I see it. Okay, so it's at 1323. That makes sense. All right. 1323. What's it? 1323. Oh, 13 degrees 31 over here. So within minutes. Not even within like, oh, a few degrees. No. The rebel in the sky, the rebelliousness, all that rebellious energy of Uranus is grinding on that sense of forming power. Grinding. This could very well be the people who are confronting him, the people who are questioning him. This whole idea, he wants power, he wants to form it, he wants to hold it. This is the rebellious energy in the universe saying, oh, that's yours? You think that's yours? Grind. That's what I think of you having power. He's not going to like it. His sun here at 0 degrees is as this lovely blue line up to the sun here, which is nearly at 0 degrees. So the sun in the sky was giving his sense of self a nice little boost. Venus was over here kissing the moon on the way past, sending lovely energy down to his little power-hungry self down here. And the dream, the power of the dreams, the Neptune energy was sending lovely energy to his sense of grandiosity. So he's feeling really good about himself, except for those pesky people trying to rebel against him. And boy, are they just grinding. Within minutes, this thing is so, the aspect is so exact. It's just bugging the heck out of him. So there's that. And let me see if there's something else here. Oh, it's just going to be a short little video. And I bore you all to tears. Okay, this is a comparison in the chart. It's similar to what we've seen before. In blue here, that's Joe Manchin. The orange outer circle here, that's the Democratic Party. Well, his sense of self and the Democratic Party's emotional needs are in the same place, in sympathetic. You see this a lot in really good marriages, where one person will have the moon conjunct the sun, or the other. Thank you, Hardo. If you are the sun person, you will tend to have, it's almost like a need to be supportive, emotionally supportive of the other person, because your sun, your sense of self warms their emotional, it fills their emotional needs, it warms them, and they feel it deeply. And it's lovely. So there's something here, because, and it's also such a close aspect. I mean, the sun's at 0 degree, the moon's at 28, sun's at 0, so 28, 29, 0. That's 3 degrees. That's for the sun and the moon. They can affect each other, 10 degrees in either direction. So there's something about the Democratic Party that Manchin feels like he needs to protect them in some way. I think just naturally. But there are some problems. Oh my goodness, are there problems? And this is the problem right here. Because right up here in the Democratic Party's chart, you have, remember that 4 is the symbol for Jupiter? The Democratic Party's sense of expansion, jovial, feeling big, right? Lucky is within 2 degrees of God of War, take action, take grand action. This is make a splash, make do big things. Don't just make an infrastructure plan. Make a massive infrastructure plan. That would be, well, a plan would be Saturn, but take massive action. That's what that is. And it's a little too far away from his own sense of grandiosity, but okay, that's up here, right? This is how the Democrats do their big plan. But look here, look at this big red line. The Democrats' sense of their big grand actions is just grinding on Joe Manchin's personal power. Just grinding on it, and his sense of my power that I take form of, that I hold, is grinding against the Democrats' sense that we want to act. No, my power. No, I'm not giving up my power. I have my power. You're not going to make my power look small. But we're trying to do a big thing here. We're trying to act in a big way here, Democrats are saying. And he's like, no, this is my power. Your big thing is grinding away my power. That's probably the main reason he is having trouble with these grand gestures that when Democrats try to make big gestures, big actions, he really feels like power is being taken away from him. It's subconscious, but it's there. And it doesn't help that, one, there's no blue coming to this little point. There's nothing good feeding energy into Manchin's sense of power. Zippo. And remember, this is tied into his emotions. This is really important. And there's no good energy flowing into this. And across the way, over here, it's a little bit of distance. This is only at 10 degrees. This is at 13 and 14. But it's still, within a few degrees. It'll still have some effect. You have what the Democrats, what they love, how they love. They love this Aquarian energy, this share with all, this the water bearer who gives to each equally. CC Ryder, Autumn, it would be great to see the chart of the Democratic Party founded January 8th, 1828. That is exactly what is in orange right here. I assume you mean you want to see it on its own, but that is actually what that is, just so you know for what it's worth. So the Democratic Party, they love this. But every time, what the Democrats love, this give equally to all, again, is doing a seesaw action with Manchin's sense of his own power. When the Democrats make grand gesture, they're going to act in this big way. When they are doing what they really love, it takes away power from him. And that's how he feels it, because in his personal chart, that power of his is very strongly drawing his own emotions. It's just beautifully locked into his emotions, almost down to the minute. This Pluto is at 13 degrees 31 minutes, and the moon is at 13 degrees 51 minutes. It's 20 minutes. So when you have situations like this, you have to say, first it helps. The astrology can help you understand what is his deal. What is your deal, man? What is it that you really object to? What is the problem? Do you want money? Do you want I mean, it would help if we had a birth time, so we could figure out what house it's in. Is it in the second house of my money, my own money, my values and valuables? So we don't know what house this is in, but what's being really activated in a lot of places here, and what's linked into his emotions, it isn't the money, it's the power. So if Democrats want to, so in a situation like this, if Democrats, if they knew all this, they could sit there and say, okay, how can we act in a way that makes Manchin, we get what we want, but Manchin still feels powerful? Are there ways we can phrase things? Or can we name things after him? Can we carry him on into the Senate on a raised chair? It's like, I don't care. What do we need to, so that because the Democrats just saying, we want to do this big thing. We're acting on this big thing. We're acting on this big thing that we love. We love this stuff. We love giving to all. And it's a big action. And it's intense. The more you push this in his face, the more it's just going to grind on him. So, and also lastly, forget the ascendant thing. We don't know what the birth time is on either of them, but Pluto's over here. The Democrats, Pluto, their sense of power is over at 4 degrees. Moon's over, the sun's over here at 0. And heck, even it's a little wide. Let's just stick to the sun. His sense of self is very loosely opposite the Democrat's sense of power. So his sense of self, when they get more power, he feels like his energy goes down. But he's still got this, to his frustration, he still has this stinking conjunction with the Democrat's moon. It's like, why can't I quit you? I feel like I have my being. I need to protect you. Why? Well, it's because it's in the chart. So that's what's going on there. Was there anything else? I had a quick look at the Manchin in the U.S. chart. It's better. Manchin over here, his the thing I found interesting about this chart with the U.S. is it's not conjunct, but it's in the same sign. It's in the ballpark. This I want power as the U.S. South Node. Basically, what the U.S. is trying to leave behind. No, I take it back. North Node, where the U.S. is trying to go. I'm sorry, I'm tired. The U.S. has its North Node in Leo. I can't believe I just made that mistake. Mea culpa. It's not exact, but they're in the same area. So he might feel, because the power of the U.S. is so big, I wonder if he feels like, well, getting on board with this whole America thing is how I can get power, because that's where they're supposed to be going. it's not quite. I don't know. I could be wrong. It was just a thought. But America's emotional needs are a part on the other side of his, the way he communicates. So the way he speaks doesn't necessarily work with all of America. Not necessarily, it can raise us up, but a lot of the times when he talks, it also brings us down. And over time, we start to resent America. We start to resent it, because it's like, yeah, every time you stand up and you're talking, we get emotionally lowered. If he was smart, if he knew astrology, he would recognize that and say, okay, I need to minimize that. I mean, these guys, they have all of this training in stand like this, put your hands like that, never point your finger, do the thing. If he knew this, he could be like, okay, I need to stop talking about just my state or just myself. I need to be talking about the rest of the country. And when all of these other people, these other representatives and people come to me with saying, look, we need your help because there are these problems over here, maybe I should care or say something that's going to help them. Thank you, me, myself, and I. Thank you. That was very sweet. So, yeah, but he's not going to. He'd have to study this. He'd have to do something about it. I mean, it's nice that his dreams are very much being powered by the U.S. Uranus, so the sense of rebellious, the rebel. He loves that. His personal dreams and the dream down here of the rebel, all day long. Beautiful energy. Talk to him about the free thinker, the rebellious person. Loves it. That's that blue line right there. Loves that rebelliousness. It fits right in with his own dreams. But lastly, I will leave with Saturn here. Remember, Saturn forms things. Remember the 5 symbol? The 4 symbol expands things, Jupiter. The 5 symbol, Saturn, it contracts, gives form to things, rules. Right? It is at 14 degrees 48. Well, where else are we seeing a 14 degrees? Ding. So 14 here, 3, 6. Pretty good. The way that America brings things into form, hey, that gives good energy to the me, myself, and give me power of Joe Manchin. That's it's called a sextile at 60 degrees. So anyway, that is my nearly 2 hours that I was so tired. Oh my gosh. But I was hoping that would be illuminating. And I rather than just be frustrated, I thought it was time we started looking at the astrology. And this isn't even what's going to happen coming up. Thank you. This is just what's happening now and the interactions between different things. So I did get a chart on January 6th Select Committee, but I didn't get a chance to make up a chart to compare Steve Bannon with it. Maybe I'll be able to do that by tomorrow. I don't know. It might take a couple days. Yes, it has been a long day. I've been on camera 3, 4, 5 hours, 5, 6 hours today. Nearly, we're getting up near 6 hours. So, all right, that's going to do it for me. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you guys for being here. It's very kind of you. I hope this helped. Yes, and thank you to the Troll Slayers for keeping us safe. It's amazing. All right. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Dave. Yep, that's right. Thank you. All right, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your night. I hope that helps. And we'll talk more. And I will be back right here, probably standing, in proper lighting tomorrow. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you at Chicago time at noon tomorrow. Rest well. Take care. And thank you. Well, thank you, Thelma. Thank you. Once a week, maybe is great. Who are you doing next in comparison? Oh, okay. I could start doing stuff like that. All right. Take care.